What's going on, everybody? Is What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you click the link below, you'll see a Patreon account. If you click it, you become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to. Just click the link, and don't forget to subscribe. And then don't forget to subscribe to this man right here.
Yes, this is Delboy from Movie Mash. Make sure you check out my channel. I'm sure he's going to put a link in it. And today we're going to talk about Fright Night. And I only watched it the other night, and I was talking to him, and he was going to review it. So I said, "Can I join?" So he's let me jump on. I only a few points.
So here we are, man, a friendly face, and this is day number 15 of in the month of madness. Yes, every single day of this month, I am dropping a freaking video highlighting a damn specific horror movie. It may be something indie, it may be something modern, it may be something that's a classic. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like a mixed bag of nuts. Anyway, so we're looking at Fright Night, which came out in 1985. It is a supernatural horror movie that is directed by Tom Holland, who has also done Child's Play. He directed Child's Play, correct?
Yeah.
He directed Child's Play, and he's written for a whole bunch of other movies, including Dale Boy's favorite movie, Psycho 2. This movie is starring Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Amanda Burse, Stephen Goffreys, and Roddy McDowell, right? Yeah. So go ahead and give me a background of any of those people that you recognize, because this is a human encyclopedia, everybody.
All right, I am, but I've only got limited with this one. So all I know is Chris. Remember, we're talking about names, terrible. Chris Sarandon. The only thing I know is he's been around quite a lot. And for anyone who knows, he was on Chucky, or first Child's Play. He was the detective, a kind of mum's love interest-ish kind of thing. Do you remember? I don't know. Yeah. Roddy McDowell, he was famous for, everyone might know, he was famous for Planet of the Apes, the original, back in the 60s. So he was quite big for a while. And you know what? I never knew that he was from London.
Oh, shit.
I was watching the other night. I was like, hold on, he's got an English accent. Let me check that shit out. Yep, he's one of my boys. But as I say, like, I don't have much really in when it comes to info on this, because it's still kind of new to me, this film. Apart from Roddy McDowell, I know him pretty well from Planet of the Apes and the other guy. Unfortunately, that's all I have with this.
That's all right. That's all right. It's the human encyclopedia, everyone. Yeah, give him a hand.
You got something. Right. You got something.
It's something. It's something. It's better than me. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into Fright Night. Fright Night is about this young man who was obsessed with scary movies. I mean, literally obsessed. Like, he's trying to get it on with this girl, and then when she finally says, "All right, it's time to go," then you said what?
You know what I mean? She's like, "Let's do it," and he's like, "Huh?"
And he's looking out the window. He's like, "Hey, man, they're bringing a coffin next door," you know. So yeah. It's funny. Like, this movie comes off as very cheesy and comedic at times because of its unrealistic nature at times, but it works. It works. So this young man is obsessed with his neighbor. He thinks that his neighbor is a freaking vampire, right? And all of a sudden, we start finding out that people around the city are getting fucking killed and drained of their blood, and he thinks his neighbor is the suspect number one. So what ends up happening is he basically proves it, and the neighbor comes up and meets him and starts to whoop his ass. Now, that honestly was a pretty interesting scene, if I do say so myself. What did you think about that scene where they had the first showdown?
First showdown is when he comes into the mum's house, isn't it?
Yeah, he comes into because he needs to be invited in.
That's right. Yeah. And he actually even says it. Oh, it was very nice of your mum to invite me into your house. I was like, oh, you fucked up. You're
exactly. Yeah. So the
mum's liking him a lot as well. And I'm like, you're in trouble now.
Yeah, because she was a single mom, which seems to be rare in the 80s. You know what? I have not seen too many 80s movies with single moms. Have you?
I've never paid attention.
I feel like
Psycho 2.
I mean, yeah, that's different though. But you know, that's different. But it's
very,
all right.
Yeah, I didn't. I've not really paid attention to that. Now that you've said it, I will try and pay attention. But yeah, I thought it was really the showdown was pretty decent. It was playful and comical and silly as fuck, but really enjoyable. When it's like I'm fucking with you and I'm having the vampire. I'm fucking with you and I'm having fun doing it. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Look, watch yourself. I'll make a deal with you." And I would have taken that deal, to be honest with you. Right? It was like, you shut your mouth, say nothing, and everything will be fine. You know what I mean? But no,
I would have took the deal too. I was like,
yeah.
okay, whatever.
I
Like,
still probably would have moved though as soon as I took the deal. But still, you know.
yeah, but his mom wouldn't have believed him to move. But
I would have tried
it is
something.
what it is.
Yeah, I liked it.
So fast forward, he basically declares war on his damn vampire and tries to enlist the help of like a TV specialist guy.
Peter Vincent.
Yeah, so he enlists the help of this guy in order to kill him, who honestly thinks that he's bluffing, but he's only doing it because they offered to pay him, right?
Yeah, because he's acting the fool, and his mate, is it Scary, or what were they calling his friend? Scary or
Evil Ed?
Evil, that was it. Yeah, they were calling his friend Evil, and he's missed. They were like, "Oh, let's go and pay this dude to pretend." I'm like, "Oh, are you really going out your way to just?" My mates would have just shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? But all right, and then Peter Vincent rings the vampire, and he agrees with it, and I'm like, all right, this is getting very elaborate here, but we're having
yeah. They go into real detail, and then eventually, it's funny because he ends up finding out that that the neighbor is a vampire only because he sees that he didn't have the reflection in the mirror.
Yeah,
and then the vampire catches on to it as well too. But here's one thing I wanted to ask you. Eventually, they're all walking through. There's one scene where they're all walking through the alley. And Ed ends up scaring them and then running off, whatever. And then Ed gets caught alone, and then the vampire like hugs him. And I'm thinking that he's going to change him into a vampire, but he ends up becoming a werewolf, right?
No, he's a vampire.
But at the end, he's a werewolf. He when he gets shot, he turns into a big ass wolf.
But I suppose because it kind of gives, I got the impression that these kind of vampires can turn into wolves and vampires. I mean,
I think that he's a werewolf, and I think that the neighbor's friend or the sidekick was supposed to be Frankenstein.
Oh,
that's the impression that I got. Like, I got that they were trying to make like a whole like Universal Monster World type thing. Because think about it, his homeboy, his right hand man, was like fake. He was made like he was like created or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like a Dr. Frankenstein creation.
I felt he was more like is it not Lurch, but like the guy who looks after Dracula in the house. What's his name? Like Igor or something like that.
Igor. Isn't it Igor from Frankenstein?
Like you've seen what was that film, Salem's Lot? Do you remember he had like a kind of a daytime carer, watcher?
Caretaker. Yeah, this was his caretaker. I 100% agree with that. But I'm just saying that I think that this movie was trying to bring in other elements that basically saying like if vampires are real, then so are werewolves. And if werewolves are real, then so is the Frankenstein monster. Because I really legitimately think that his caretaker was supposed to be Frankenstein because he was fake. Like he seemed like he was just created like some being.
I just see him as a caretaker. I thought he was like, what do you call it? Like even on Blade, one of those people that are kind of promised or something to be a vampire at some point because he seemed to have special abilities.
He was fake. He remember when they shot him and like it showed that he oozed out like this liquid. Like it wasn't even like legitly like blood.
I actually can't remember that. I must have missed that.
Yeah, the dude is fake because they shot him and then like he got right back up and it was like, but then when they finally, I think they did something and when he oozed out, it was like this toxic-y material or something. Like it wasn't blood. He was fake.
I forgot about that. Yeah, well then in that case, it's a shame we didn't elaborate a little bit more on the werewolf aspect and the Frankenstein. But you know what? I wouldn't change it the way it is now anyway. Do you know what I mean? That's
why his friend didn't die. He was a werewolf. Like he has to be killed with like a silver bullet or some shit. And then they like stab him with
through at the end or something.
Yeah, but werewolves can't be killed by sticks. And then at the end, you hear Evil Ed laugh, so you're assuming that he's still alive. Or we see the glowing eyes, and then you hear him laugh, so we're assuming that he's still alive.
Yeah. Well, I actually always thought he was just a vampire, but they could just turn into bats and whales on this. Do you know what I mean? But you know what?
I think he's a werewolf.
if you watch the second one, there's werewolves on that and all that kind of thing. So yeah.
Oh, see, there you go. Then I think yeah, he's a werewolf. That solves my answer. That gives me my answer. But honestly, I had a lot of fun with this movie. The practical.
There was one scene. Do you remember the nightclub?
The what?
They run into a nightclub. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're dancing.
Yeah, and he walks in all smooth and shit, like the vampire walks in with his like 80s sweater on and shit, like, and he's nice hair, blow, dried hair and shit. There was one scene where he's dancing or he's walking past a mirror, and a quick glance, you could actually see his reflection. I was like, ooh, you missed that bit out there. He had a reflection.
I didn't see that. I didn't catch that. I just know that they made it they emphasized the hell out of it that she was dancing by herself, like in certain scenes.
Like it's just the whole thing is fun. All the characters, including Peter Vincent, Roddy McDowall, the vampire, like the actor who played the vampire, he never really reached any heights after this. But actually, he was a really good choice. He was very suave, very sarcastic, and he was the kind of guy you would like to beat the shit out of anyway, because he was just kind of like real kind of, up himself. But I think in general, this film was just all round 80s fun. Don't take it too seriously.
Oh, definitely. It has a good practical too, by the way. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Great practical. Great practical. Yeah.
Great practical. Transformations are good.
That I think if you haven't seen it, you should go and see it now, ASAP.
Definitely. So that is our that is my day 15 recommendation, Fright Night. If you haven't seen it, basically go watch it now. It's fun, it's funny, it has great practical effects. It's going to keep you entertained from beginning to end. And then you guys let me know, is Evil Elliot, is he a werewolf now? And then is the other guy a Frankenstein monster? Let me know in the comment section down below. Until next time, you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. A link will be in the description above. So make sure you get that done. And we will see you guys tomorrow for the next segment of In the Month of Madness. Adios.